Well, I'm with Kristian Nairn. We're in Preston at the Evoke. He's just about to do a DJ set. So how has your day been so far?
It's been pretty long. Yeah, I'm just going to say pretty long. I've been up and down the motorway like a crazy person. So I'm looking forward to the gig though. It should be good.
So you first started DJing 20 years ago?
Yeah, about 20 years. About 19, 20 years, yeah.
And was that at the Kremlin in Belfast?
More or less. I mean, I learned the actual skill of DJing before I started in there. But yeah, that was my first sort of club gig. So.
And was that vinyl or was that?
It was mixed actually, mixed vinyl and CDs. But the CD players were these dodgy drawer CD players that used to come out and they used to jump when people put their pints on them. It's classy.
So being on Game of Thrones,
yeah,
has that sort of influenced any of your DJing, your mixes, anything like that?
Not my mixes. I mean, I don't play. I've got this whole Game of Thrones thing, but I guess it's kind of misleading. I don't play Game of Thrones music. I mean, like, what the fuck would that be about? I'm not going to play classical music or Remains of Castamere and repeat because that'll just be weird. It has definitely influenced the sort of the size of sort of audience I have. And where I can travel to, surely. I was just a resident DJ before this, and I've been all over the place now.
So how has the response been to going over to places like Australia and going over to America, that sort of thing?
Every time I go somewhere, I think it's going to be the best, and it can't be bettered. The start of the tour was in Australia 3 months ago now. I actually haven't been home in 3 months, and yeah, the crowds were amazing. I love Australian people. I love the sort of way of life in Australia. Crowds were fantastic. I came home to the UK, and I've been doing like a Freshers Week tour. Freshers fucking 2 months, up and down the country, and the crowds have been literally unbelievable. Like, I've never played anything like it in my life. And then I went to America. I did the big gig, the sort of huge gig in Times Square. That was incredible. In Boston and stuff, that was incredible. And I came back here and I've had like 4 or 5 gigs since, and they were just massive. And like, it just keeps getting better and better. Earlier
this year, for an interview with Winter Is Coming, you sort of came out publicly. Sort of came out publicly. So are you still asked whether or not you asked about it?
I mean, it depends on the type of interview. I mean, most people want to talk about Game of Thrones and ask me great questions like how to remember my lines. But it's actually, I like being asked about it, you know. Yeah, I mean, I never expected the response from that, because I assumed that everybody knew. I assumed that most of the world knew how to use Google, because it was always there. You know, it's not as if it was a secret. So, yeah, I was definitely a bit shocked by the response.
And how important do you think it is to have out famous LGBT people?
Well, I guess I'm trying to think from my own point of view. I didn't really have anyone to look up to when I was growing up. I was very lucky. I appreciate how lucky I was. I didn't really have any issues coming out, or I had a very accepting mother and family. Yeah, you know, I think also, you know, I don't really fit in the gay stereotype. I mean, there isn't a gay stereotype, I believe. I mean, we come in all shapes and sizes, which we all know. But I think maybe people from the outside think we're all in a certain sort of mould. I think it's also important to sort of show that we're very diverse, because we are very diverse. It's important to sort of put that on a public foot.
So why do you think that we don't really see many gay characters in shows like Game of Thrones?
I mean, I think actually HBO have amped up the gay story, even from the books, because although it is there, I think it was slightly more subtle. Like, they're not going to put a random gay character into a show that wasn't there in the book. I wouldn't want them to do that either, you know. But I'm pleased that they definitely sort of pushed up Loris's gayness, and also the Remy and Loris story then, it was definitely more prominent than it was in the book. So I was pleased with that.
So I would say your biggest fan base would be the bear scene.
Yeah.
Is there a big bear scene in Northern Ireland that you're aware of?
So I'm looking at my friends in the background here. I mean, yeah, it's definitely got bigger in the last sort of 5-10 years. We have a couple of bear nights. I don't go out anymore. I've being a DJ, you know, being on the scene, I don't really bother anymore. I've kind of seen it all. But yeah, it's definitely got slightly bigger at home. To be honest though, I'm more of a fan of everyone partying together. I don't really like nights that sort of separate, because I think we've got a fairly rare thing in Belfast. Some people like it, some people don't, but like lesbians and gay people, we all sort of party together in Belfast, and I really like that. I don't really think we need to separate them any more than we already are.
Is there a, like, in Manchester we have Canal Street, is there like a village there?
I'm going to say yes, but you're not going to, don't think of it like Canal Street. It's more like, I don't know, yeah, it's like a corner. It's like a little gay corner. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely more than we used to have. I would say for the size of the city, the standard of the clubs and pubs in Belfast is very, very good. So,
so do you have any advice to give LGBT teens out there?
I think it depends very much on your. It's very easy for someone who's had an easy ride to sit and give and preach advice. But I think it's always better in the long run to be open. In the long run, I mean, it mightn't be the time. Pick your time carefully. You know, if you have a family that's not going to accept it and you have nowhere to go, and you have maybe you're going to go to college next year and you're going to be going away anyway, maybe, that's one time I would maybe advise you to wait, just to save yourself some heartache. But make things easier for yourself, because if you keep it to yourself, it's just going to destroy you. And surround yourself with positive people. Anyone who's negative about it, and friends can be negative as well, even in jokey ways and stuff. And when you're coming out, you're vulnerable. You don't need that around you. So try to surround yourself with positive people. Really, that's my biggest advice.
So who are your favourite sort of artists, DJs?
Okay, at the minute, my favourite probably producer is Grum. He's a Scottish DJ and producer. He's really sort of big. Really sort of synthy electro guy, and then probably Eric Prides or Eric Prids, whatever we said. He would be a big hero of mine. He's really like a progressive house god. Amazing.
So would you say house music was?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't listen to house music in the house. Funny enough, I mean, I don't really listen to any music, because you know, I just DJ all the time, and the last thing I want to do at home is be listening to music. Which is quite sad, I agree, because I used to listen to music all the time. But I mean, I never expected to be any sort of focus of anything. I never really saw myself that way, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm very appreciative. People are so cool. I get to meet some really cool people, so I'm really grateful for it, to be honest. So.